Hello friends, it's the Stitches, and today I'm going to show you how I made this Shiro Lolita set. I started out with my own bodice pattern. I'm not super happy with it, but I'm getting closer to where I want it. I didn't have a puff sleeve pattern for this bodice yet, so I had to draft one. It's pretty simple, you just cut it up and make it longer. I found 3 identical cotton sateen sheets at Goodwill and immediately thought I need to make a Shiro cord out of this. I also crocheted some lace for this dress, but I didn't actually film any of it because I just crochet as something I do to relax, but I'll leave the tutorial I used in the description. I wanted a very ornate skirt, so I loaded it with lace and pin tucks. This is a tiered skirt, so I put 3 pin tucks in the top tier, a big block of chunky handmade lace followed by 2 pin tucks, and a row of skinny lace, and then 3 more pin tucks, and then 1 last row of lace in the middle tier. And then in the last tier, I just made it extra gathered with a lace hem, so it's basically just a big beefy ruffle. Gathering the tiers and getting it all together took forever and a day, but it came out so pretty and delicate, but we'll set this part of the dress aside for now. For now, let's look at the bodice. I want some of those crisscrossy, strappy bits at the chest, so those get tacked on in the front. I also wanted a really wide column of lace on the bodice, but the only thing I could find locally was unbleached cotton, so we'll just have to bleach it to match the color. Just a splash will do. I only left it for about half an hour to lift the color slightly. This process did shrink it significantly though. Luckily, it was still just long enough to work. No OP is complete without sleeves, and puff sleeves are clearly the superior choice. I'm giving mine another lace hem and using some of my scraps to make some elastic casing. Once again, using a trusty safety pin to thread the elastic. Once all the little bits for my bodice are ready, it's time to stitch it all together. Once the outer part of the bodice is complete, the next step is to insert my already conveniently constructed lining. For now, I'm just going to attach these along the top seam since I still have to attach my skirt and insert a zipper. But other than that, the bodice is now constructed. The skirt was a little long, so I trimmed down the top tier and gathered the skirt to fit onto the bodice. I do this by hand because it's the least frustrating method for me. And it's time to stitch it down. I also did my waist top stitching here as well. And it's invisible zipper time. I like to press everything down super thoroughly and pin a little bit excessively so that everything stays in place while I sew. Of course, you always want to use a zipper foot while you work on a zipper because it just makes everything a million times easier. But despite my best efforts, the zipper still came out a little wonky, but I didn't have the energy to rip it out and try it again, so it's fine. Now I can slip stitch the lining into place so that it lays flat. I also cut some more scraps into strips and made a cover for my seam allowance in the sleeves. This should make the whole armpit area much more comfortable. Another detail I wanted to add was some detachable waist ties. I just whipped them up quickly on the serger. And used my corner press to get those nice, crisp edges. I then gathered the raw edges into a little tab that I put my buttonholes in. This will allow me to pop the waist ties on and off at will. Next, I made some bows out of my favorite skinny bow pattern. I just whipped up a bunch of these because I would be needing a lot. I put 4 of them on pins to make movable, removable bow details for my dress, and the rest will be set aside for now. Moving on to the matching bonnet, I draped a pattern using a head form. I'll cut this pattern out of buckram, a canvas material that's stiffened with glue. This is a very traditional hat making material, but it is surprisingly delicate. The buckram pieces are then reinforced with wire to give it a structured shape. This is all just whip stitched down, and then the whole base is whip stitched together, and that creates the skeleton of our bonnet. This gets covered in baby fleece or baby flannel, I don't know, just some thin, fuzzy material. Do what you want. This just gets slip stitched together and then the entire layer gets pad stitched down. This creates a smooth, sleek, sexy base to sew our fabric to. It also just looks really cool and couture in this phase. Then I draft my last few bits for the fashion fabric and cover the bonnet in yet another layer of material. But this layer is only slip stitched, so no pad stitching is required. I also just wanted a gathery bit in the front because, I don't know, it just feels really high society 1832. I'm using lots more lace, and I wasn't super happy with the seam along the crown, so I covered it with some binding. This took another century to stick down, but hey, I got a lot of Netflix watched. Those last couple bows I set aside will come in handy now. And I also stitched on a couple straps to tie under my chin to hold the bonnet onto my head. And we're done. For now, I guess. I really wanted to make some detachable long sleeves for this dress, but I also really wanted to release this video today. But I think the outfit still looks complete without them, and I can always add them on later. I plan on wearing this set to an ILD meetup at my local comm, and I honestly can't wait. I'm really happy with how this whole set turned out, and I like that even though this is clearly a set, I can still switch around the bows, or change up the headwear, or wear the bonnet with a different dress, or wear a blouse underneath this OP. Like, it's still quite versatile. That's all for today's video. I hope everyone has a good day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!